Welcome to Dub Nation, your hub for everything Utah Warriors of Major League Rugby. I am Jarom Jordan. Great to have you with us alongside Banksy. Can you believe it's the 5-year anniversary for the Warriors? One of the OG 7 in Major League Rugby, and today the team rolled out a new logo and a new campaign for this 5th season, man.
It's a fantastic anniversary for the Utah Warriors, and I've been lucky enough to be, well, as a fan of the organization through the first year and went to every game, and to see Major League Rugby develop into what it is. It's been a special ride, and to be part of one of the original organizations in MLR is such a treat.
Pretty awesome. There's a commemorative logo. There's a patch designed by our producer, the creative director of the Warriors, Billy Rathule. He's the man. The patch will be worn on the game jerseys during the season. That's going to be cool. Special merch will roll out starting in January. The patch features the 4 stripes. The 4 stripes are on the shirt I'm wearing that we wear a lot. It's symbolic of the franchise core values: community, family, tradition, respect. It's going to be awesome. I think maybe my favorite moment that didn't have to do with the play on the field, Banksy, was last year when all of the local teams and the history was celebrated at halftime of one of the games. Although obviously Highland and the history there, and BYU and Utah and United and BYU women's team and BYU and Utah men and whatnot. Weber State, UVU. Like Utah State, it was great. And this is a rugby community, and I think it'll be another opportunity to celebrate that this year.
It's a great chance for the Utah rugby community to come together. When you look at the over 45, almost 50-year history of clubs like Park City Haggis, of course, the storied tradition of Highland that goes back for decades. United, the women's clubs like the Vipers that have been such a force in women's rugby. And as, of course, all the collegiate programs. This is another great banner to unite under, just like we did on Yosepa night with those commemorative jerseys and that special community night that we were able to all gather together for. This is another great landmark in the long history of Utah rugby.
Okay, we're live on the Utah Warriors Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube accounts. Subscribe to the podcast version on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud if you want. We got a lot of different ways to find us. If you have a comment, fire away. We'll try and get to some of those. Here's what's on the rundown. We've got a lot to talk about for November 3rd. Eagles versus All Blacks. Listen, it didn't go well in the game, but the Warriors were repping, and suddenly Chad Goff is playing against the All Blacks and getting called up. That was sweet. The All Blacks tweeted out a photo that included our guy, Chad Goff. We'll show you the photo, which is great. There it is. There it is. We just gave you 1 second. That's called the tease. The USA selects in the ARC. Didn't go well, but again, 4 Utah Warriors represented there. We'll talk about that. Utah selects against the Pathway 404 on Saturday. That's a big game. There's a little rivalry there with Rugby ATL and the Warriors. We're going to talk to Connor Burns, Major League Rugby draft pick, number 24, second-round pick. He's a stud from the UK, went to Lindenwood. He is one of the future backs on this Utah Warriors team, and then some news and notes. So let's jump right in. The Eagles and the All Blacks. First off, we knew that Paul Mullen was going to be involved. Then it was cool that Michael Baska was invited to camp. And then late addition, Banksy, Chad Goff, the former University of Utah Ute, one of the 3 hookers that got some important time this year, he gets called up. gets his first cap against the freaking All Blacks, dude.
If you're going to make a debut, that's a hell of a game to do it on. And, whether it was the ARC or playing in the European tours or against these All Blacks, the Utah Warriors have had so many key faces play pivotal roles in the buildup and the execution of these games that it's only going to go well for not only the growth of USA Rugby, but for the Utah Warriors in our upcoming season. This is going to have immediate effects and benefits getting that kind of experience.
You'll be like, that dude's played the All Blacks, okay? Ain't no thing when he's playing Rugby United New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to – that's awesome.
I went to school with All Blacks, Jarom. It's not like it's that big a deal.
Oh, come on. It is a big deal. It's a huge deal. Sean Pittman was the forwards coach as well, the Utah Warriors head coach, the Major League Rugby coach of the year. He was great. So, obviously – being out of the test window meant that no teams were obligated to send their international guys. So you're not seeing AJ McGinty and Paul Asiki and everybody, right? But these guys did their best. They did okay. It's 104-14. It's just a blowout. It's just destroyed. But here's the good news. The USA for the first time scored a try. In fact, the US scored 2 tries. Nate Oxberger and Ryan Mattias, San Diego Legion guys, they scored tries. If there's a positive note of any kind, it's that the US finally scored in its 4th game against New Zealand.
If you look around at all the different talking heads and the pundits and, the different podcast guys, everybody's got a different take on this. People saying it was embarrassing. There's nothing to be embarrassed about losing to the All Blacks the way that the USA Eagles did. Remember, they went the next week to Wales and hung 54 points on a top-tier nation. So to play an all MLR side against what I would consider a very strong All Black side. It's not like they fielded the B team out here. Sure. They got some young guys that got caps, but it was by all accounts an incredibly strong and very talented side with some debuts that were spectacular. But this was not a weak All Black side. This wasn't a B team. This wasn't a developmental team. They came out to play clearly and put 104 points on the Eagles. But there was a lot of positives to take out of this game. Of course, the first 2 tries were great. But as we got deep into the second half, we saw some better sustained possession. We saw some ball carrying and some buildup and some structure against the best team in the world, arguably, that we haven't really seen out of the Eagles before, where it was just scramble the last 3 different times that they had played. Could we have seen some better defense out of the Eagles? Absolutely. You hang up 104 points off of somebody, that's going to happen. But when you realize 7, maybe 8 starters that are with their European clubs were probably out for this match, and it was a 100% domestic side, there's nothing to hang your heads on if you're an Eagles fan. I think it was a for as bad as it went, it was a pretty good showing.
That was one of the best 90-point losses I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? So the All Blacks tweet out jersey swap, and it's Dane Coles, the hooker, with Chad Goff. So our boy Chad Goff is featured in the All Blacks tweet, which is super cool. I don't know what Chad was doing that week, Banksy, but he could not have imagined being called up and then being tweeted out on a photo by the All Blacks. That's pretty awesome, man.
I mean, what a run of what was probably about 6 days from, being at home and going through your off-season workouts to being called into camp thinking, okay, you're just going to be there and support, to getting your first cap against the All Blacks in D.C. in the inaugural Cup match there, and then to have that jersey swap in that moment. There's some great culture moments and some great memories that I'm sure he's made, as well as the entire organization that is USA Rugby.
Shout out to Chad Goff for putting in that time, being ready. Because, listen, it's not up to Chad Goff if the international test window is over. He's ready to go, which is to his credit. So congrats. So that's like the main Eagles side, right? And even then, it was kind of MLR specific, right? So now we go to the USA Selects, the development team. 4 Warriors repping on that team, too, that went down to the America Rugby Challenge, right? The championship, the ARCs. Look at this. From left to right, Matt Madison, the strength and conditioning coach, Joseph Backey, the first-round pick for the Warriors, Elijah Hayes, and Bailey Wilson. These guys repped the Warriors and did a nice job with the USA Selects in a couple of games. They were supposed to play 3. First one, they get there late, so they don't play Argentina. And then they play Brazil. They lose 33-20. And then last Saturday, they played the Chile A team and lost 29-14. So didn't come back with wins, but Bailey Wilson had a nice try in the Chile game. And Joseph Backey and Elijah Hayes, they got in, had some good minutes. So a good showing and repping the Warriors, having 3 dudes on the Eagles against the All Blacks, and then 3 dudes in the ARCs, and an assistant coach, and in this case, a strength and conditioning guy. I love the fact that 8 guys were with the USA in some form there.
You know, I think if we look at it from a Utah Warriors organization, this was an absolutely great showing, you know, with Cap there with the ARC squad playing well and leading that team out. You know, he's a leader here for the Warriors, even at his young age. I mean, sometimes we forget, you know, he's only in his early 20s. You know, he's a really young guy still playing an incredibly high level of rugby. And he's got another 10 years of growth still in him. You know, you look at the physical shape that Elijah's got in. You look at the immediate impact, obviously, of somebody like Backy and the attention that he's got. It's fantastic to see. You know, I mean, if I'm a USA Rugby organizer, I'm kind of embarrassed about what happened, right? A loss to the All Blacks, a loss, not a single win in the ARC. The USA Women's Eagles lose to Canada. I mean, there's not a single win or even really game that they can look to or a moment that they can put and go, yeah, that's on us. You know, even financially, the USA program only took $200,000 in money from that All Blacks match, where the All Blacks made over $1.5 million financially in that situation.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it. Oh. You know, so on the business side of things, and we know that USA Rugby hasn't been in the best shape, having gone through a restructuring, bankruptcy, and all of that. So there are struggles there. But what is continuing to grow is, look, we fielded 2 full international sides in America's competition, as well as a European tour and a top-tier match that featured 7 guys, 8 guys from this Utah Warriors team. I mean, when you throw in, you know, Mika Kruse in there, who featured in that European tour and in all.
Calvin Whiting.
You know, and so when you realize Mikey Teo is also out, you know, in this situation, you know, how many more guys could we have? You're talking about 8 guys that could be starting for the Utah Warriors and playing rugby next year that featured internationally. So from a Warriors perspective, it was a great international window. From a USA Rugby perspective, I'm probably tucking my tail and running and trying to go back to the drawing board.
Hey, Billy, the producer, I thought we had deleted all the New Zealand All Blacks scoring on the U.S. footage. What was that? You can't show the 2 tries from the U.S.? Billy?
Jordan, look, give Jordan all that credit. He was spectacular. There was a lot of hype and build up into that kid making his debut, and he scored some great solo efforts. I think he had.
And that's our only highlight from that game, really.
He scored 3 there. You know, the Augsburger try was just a great classic 9 try if you want to look into that match. Bailey Wilson's run in the ARC was just sheer grit and determination and physicality. We've seen it from him. Fends left and right, steps in, and then just power over the line against tacklers. You know, it's what we've come to expect from Bales, and, you know, Cap makes it look easy at this point. You know, but that's the standard now that we're having to play up to. You know, the great philosopher Ric Flair said, if you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best. Well, now we know where we are compared to the best, and we got
more All Blacks highlights. This is great. This is great. Oh yeah, hey,
you know.
Yeah. We've all seen these. Ric Flair, the poet, also said, "Whoo."
He did.
Okay, get your season tickets today, man. When you listen, the spoiler alert and news and notes coming up. Mountain Nono's coming back to the Legion. You can watch him play against the Warriors.
Look, that we've got rugby this weekend, guys. So let's talk about that. We've got the selects in action, and then looking ahead to 2022, the Utah Warriors season begins, and you can get all of your tickets, whether you want to see the selects take on Pathway 404 this weekend, 1 p.m. at Zions Bank Stadium, the best home field advantage in all of Major League Rugby. This is a really young select side that could use the support of Dub Nation to get out there and cheer them on as they take a very powerful Pathway 404 program from Rugby ATL. And then be ready. That'll just wet your whistle and just, it's like the appetizer before the main course comes out, all right?
Yes.
That is your Caesar salad to the steak dinner that is coming, and that's the Utah Warriors 2022 season. So make sure you get your season tickets. Go to warriorsrugby.com for all of your ticket info, season tickets, and more. Get your packages together. Call 801-477-7652.
Steak. That sounds nice. Okay, let's talk about the selects. So Pathway 404 is coming in, playing the Utah selects on Saturday, 1 Mountain Time at Zions Bank Stadium. As you mentioned, get your tickets. Game 1 happened, recently against the Glendale, Colorado squad, the American Raptors, Colorado Raptors. I don't know. Which one is it? I've seen both. Utah wins loses 49-31. Game 2 Saturday. I'm not so much concerned that they win per se. This is a development squad, but what did you think of sort of what game 1 was, and what do you hope this season is for this group? Because last year, as we've talked about, we saw a handful of guys make the first 15 for the senior team.
We're going to see that a lot again this year. I was there last Friday when Park City Haggis, my club, got to run out against the select side in kind of a tune-up to see where they were at in preparation for this new Pathway 404 matchup. And it is a really young team. So it doesn't quite have some of the experience that we saw last year, but there's guys on that squad that can be electric. Now, when we compare them with what happened in Colorado, that Raptors team has been together since early summer. And there's MLR first team guys all over that roster as well that are free agents, that are looking for clubs, or that are about to go back to their clubs. That's a team that has played together and has incredible chemistry. So take nothing away from, what the select side did. They played a gritty first half and were down by a bunch, came back in the second half. If you watch that game, a much better and stronger second half. The adjustments that Coach Khalifi made with those boys and just playing in that structure and that system and learning each other, they really stepped it up. So I expect them to take another jump forward. It's not so much about wins and losses as it is the growth and development of these players in this system, and it's a really young side.
There's a great pathway for a kid to get to Major League Rugby, and specifically with the Utah Warriors, one of the best, if not the best in the league. So take advantage of the opportunity if you're a player watching this. And if you're a fan, get out there this Saturday, as we mentioned, 1 o'clock. Go see the Utah Selects, see some rugby in November. First of 3 games in November at home, which will be really fun. Come hang out with us. All right, let's introduce our guest for today. Super excited to get to know this guy better. Connor Burns, 24th overall pick in the Major League Rugby draft, the second-round choice from the Utah Warriors. He's from Reading in the UK, went to Lindenwood, won a couple national championships. Connor, it's great to have you on the show, man. How you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
We're great, man. We're stoked to have you in Utah, and as we understand, you are here with the team training right now, correct?
Yeah, my first one's tonight, actually. Looking forward
Your first one? Okay.
Yeah, I just arrived yesterday, so.
Okay. So are you super sleepy right now or what?
No, I'm all right. I was in Denver for a couple of days. I was just catching up and then came in as soon as I can. So, yeah, I'm doing all right now.
So 6'3", 200 pounds at fullback. Obviously, you made a big difference at Lindenwood. How excited were you when that call came from the Utah Warriors that you were going to play here and be able to play with the likes of Mikey Teo, Mika Cruz, and some of these other great talents that we have in that back three?
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's something you've been working all your life, and you get a call up saying, it's here. And then obviously, finding out I'm coming to Utah, the likes of those players, I'm just looking forward to being a sponge and, learn much I can off those guys and develop my game as much as I can. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Lindenwood has become one of the premier, if not the premier program in the country with rugby, which is pretty awesome, out of St. Charles, Missouri there. What was it like to come to the U.S., Connor, and play for Lindenwood and get that experience at a really high level?
It was incredible. I used to be with London Irish, so I was a bit, when firstly you come out to the US, you didn't know how much rugby there was out here. I didn't even think there was a professional league when I first came. But obviously coming to Lindenwood, it was, amazing. It was just no trouble in transferring from professionalism to Lindenwood because they take everything so seriously. So yeah, it's great going to Lindenwood. I'd encourage anyone if they want to develop their rugby and become the best they can, go to Lindenwood. 100%.
It's a great shout out for the alma mater there. Well done, Connor. I'm sure you're making Coach proud with that one. So talk about goals for year one. What are you hoping to accomplish with this team as you come in? Obviously, first training tonight, first impressions, and all of that still to come. But what most excites you about being with the Utah Warriors?
For me, when I first came, I came on Monday before that week of the draft. I met some of the players, met all the coaching staff, and for me, I just knew, this is where I want to come, and luckily it all worked out. But for my expectations and hope for me, I just personally want to grow my game as much as I can, and as a team's perspective, the league want to win the league this year. I believe everyone's got their own part to play in that, whether you're playing or not playing. Everyone has their role, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It was a great season last year. Obviously, hoping the Warriors build off it, get to the MLR championship, and win it. It was so exciting, and the style of play was very fun. What kind of back are you, and are you versatile as a winger or fullback?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've got multiple positions in me. I've played from the centres to fullback. I've had a little bit on the wing too. But yeah, I do like Utah's attacking style. I think they're not afraid to play from anywhere on the pitch, which is exciting. And that's why we all play. We love the game. If it gets boring, we're not going to have such a good what's it called plan. Sorry, you know what I mean. But yeah, I enjoy playing how I'm playing, and hopefully coming into this Utah way of playing, I can fit just right in.
So General Manager Brandon Sparks said this. He said, Connor is a special player. His story at Lindenwood is unique, and it demonstrated some grit that complemented his skill set. Plus, you have an incredible boot, your experience with the Sevens team as well as the 15. He said he is the future of our back three, and we're going to give him the time to develop physically on and off the field. You're 6'3", 200 pounds. Where does he think you're going to go physically?
Probably put more timber on me, just get a bit thicker probably. That's probably the way forward.
Your new best friend will be Matt Madison. He is going to get you
definitely
even more jacked than you already are, which is going to be awesome. He says his story
hopefully knows the way.
Right? He said his story at Lindenwood is unique. What's your story?
I think I know exactly which game they're talking about. That Lindenwood game. It was my freshman year. I came off the bench against Cal University, and I had an awful game. You ask any of those players that were on that field, I lost them that game. I was missing tackles, not making the right decisions, and after that, I just went, that is not happening again. That is not happening again. I don't want to feel like that again. And yeah, after that 3 years I had left, I just tried to execute the way I could and perform the best I could for the team.
So we mentioned style of play, and obviously from that moment at Cal to what became the rest of your career through those 3 years that you've been at Lindenwood, now with the Utah Warriors. Talk about how that style of play and the mentality of American rugby and Major League Rugby. You obviously like to throw the ball around and play sideline to sideline. How does that compare to that English style of rugby that typically features a lot of kicking, a lot of back and forth, and a lot of that kind of, I don't want to stereotype it, but it is typically a slower style of play.
Yeah, you're definitely right. Yeah, the English, we like to think about the risk and reward factor, of if we kick it in the 22, we can keep them down there and hopefully they make a mistake. Whereas, I come in here, it was exciting. I could try new things and test the limits, and I really enjoyed it. And I do think that's the way forward. You look at New Zealand like they're the best in the world for a reason, because they're not scared to play from anywhere. They see what's in front of them, they scan the field and they execute it.
I'm waiting for Billy to roll another, New Zealand highlight from the 90-point win over the Eagles. Luckily, it hasn't happened. It's going to come in here any second, I think. But Connor, so did you go home after the season with Lindenwood, or have you been in the States for a minute?
I've actually been here for like 2 to 3 years now. I did just go home actually to see my family, because obviously you don't know when the next time might be. So if I catch up with them for a month or two, and back now, and planning on staying. So,
are we going to be able to get them over here to see you at Zions Bank Stadium? Because there is nothing quite like Zions Bank Stadium when Dub Nation shows up for these Utah Warriors. Do they have any plans to come over and see you play?
Oh, definitely. I'm sure that it'll have to be a trip now for an excuse to come on holiday to America. So, yeah, we look forward.
If you got to twist mom and dad's arm, that's the way to go.
Come see the mountains, yeah.
Excuse to spend some money.
Yeah, take them skiing, take them to the national parks, whatever it takes. Yeah, there's some good stuff here, which would be awesome. So you're gonna, I take it, in the next 3 weeks, are they going to mix you into the Utah selects, or is it just going to be training for this next month?
I'm not 100% sure yet. I'll probably find out tonight of what's actually happening. I just wanted to get here as early as I could, settle my feet down where I'm staying and get into this select side, and hopefully we can finish off a season with a high and finish these games off.
So follow up to that and getting settled in and settled down. Who are your roommates so far? Have you figured out who you're staying with? You got anybody that's in the flat there with you?
No, I'm all alone at the moment, but
Oh,
I
lucky.
do know that
Nice.
Joe's is coming in, and so's Emerson. So all the other 3 draftees are coming. So it might be a good apartment to be in. So excited.
That'll be great. We haven't met Emerson quite yet, but we met Joseph, and he's awesome, man. He is smart. He is talented. He's cool, man. You're gonna love him. What do you like off the pitch? What do you like to do? What are some of your talents and interests?
I mean, I've got quite a sad talent. I play FIFA quite a lot, if you know the game. I play on PlayStation.
Nice.
Way to reinforce the English, boy. What are you doing?
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not sure too much. I'm looking forward to exploring Utah though, because I've heard there's a lot of hikes. I'm exploring to do a bit more adventurous things. Being from England, there's not much space to do stuff. So
you should touch base with Paulie Mullins when he gets back in town as well. He's been into that as well, exploring the mountains and having a good time. All right, let me throw some things at you rapid fire here.
Okay.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Boxers or briefs?
Oh, boxers for sure.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Five Guys or In-N-Out? Have you had either one yet?
Yes. I'll have to go in now.
Let's see, what else can we throw at you?
Mountains or ocean?
There you go. Yeah, there's one.
I'd have to go ocean.
Ocean, okay. That'll quickly change.
But the mountains are growing on you. Look at how pretty these mountains are right now with the sun going down here.
Exactly. There's nothing better waking up to.
Yeah. Which soccer team, football team do you support in England?
Not too good. I support Norwich City. They're not doing so well in the Premier League. We seem to just come up and go straight back down again. So
yeah, but listen, the jerseys pop. You know what I'm saying? The yellow and the
green.
green.
Yeah, the bright yellow.
And they have an American dude who's got red hair, Josh Sargent. I'm always watching Norwich. Yeah.
I would like to remind you, Jarom, that this is a rugby show, so zip it up.
the dude's from Reading. Let's go. Yeah. Well, Connor, it's great to meet you, man. Great to have you in town. Didn't realize tonight was the very first practice, so best of luck at training tonight. We look forward to seeing you in action, hopefully with the selects, and of course next season.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been unreal.
Okay, that's Connor Burns. Somehow got his own spot. He doesn't have a roommate right now. That's pretty nice, man.
Look, that's VIP status if you can get it. You're Connor Burns, you got that kind of clout. I have a feeling he's going to end up with some pretty good roommates here pretty quick, though, as that team culture settles in and a lot of these guys get back in town. It'll be exciting to see how he blends in with the rest of this crowd. A kid with his kind of attitude and energy is going to go well here.
6'3", 200, and Matt Madison is going to just take that clay and just shape it into just this machine that's going to be awesome back there. And I love that quote you read from General Manager Brandon Sparks. He's the future of the back three. We're going to give him time to develop. Let's go, man.
When you talk about the physical style of play that we have, when you look at who's in our centers now in our back three, when you talk about Calvin Whiting and Tyler Fisher, you look at the physical play of Mikey Teo now from the 15, the elusiveness, but the underrated physicality of what Mika Cruze does on one side, the anger that Joe Mano has started to come out with on the other side. Now you add a guy with his size, pace, and skill into that mix in that rotation, and you're talking about a very dangerous skill set on the field, but also just a menace physically. You get really tired tackling guys that size over and over and over again, and they're going to wear teams out with this size.
Love the pedigree, right, of being from the UK, playing for Lindenwood. And he was sort of this, diamond in the rough, fell to 24. We got him, which is great.
Nailed it. And I think he's only got another year and a half, 2 years before he's Eagle eligible with residency.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, news and notes. Lance Williams went home to Hawaii, hanging out with Hawaii football. They tweeted about it. Good to see Lance, former linebacker, hanging out back home. A proud warrior, a proud special needs preschool teacher. Good to see Lance hanging out with the Rainbow Warriors.
Somebody gave Lance a buddy pass so he could go home for the weekend. And, it's great. That's his cousin there on the right. You see him standing there with, and who's playing there at UH right now. And, Lance really one of the emotional leaders in this team, and he's always got a smile on his face and always such incredible energy. So it's good to see him get a bit of sunshine in the offseason.
He's a fun Instagram follow, and especially after the Warriors win. I'll say that. Former Warriors fly half Kurt Morath started for Tonga in his 39th Test cap against Scotland. That was a 60-14 win for the Scots, but Kurt's still kicking it with Tonga, of course, the all-time leading scorer.
I got to see Kurt this summer up in Colorado at a tournament, and, you know, after he blew out his knee in the last World Cup, it's been a long recovery back. But, man, his legs look as good as they ever have, and his leadership qualities showed through in that big win for Tonga.
And was part of that Austin Gilgroni side that Utah happened to beat twice this year. Those are some big wins during the season. It was good to see him back in Harriman this year. We talked about it. The tenured and amazing former All Black back with San Diego. He was with them in 2020. They were 5-0 and looked like unbeatable when things went down in 2020 when the pandemic hit. But good to see him back in the league. He'll be 40 when the season ends.
You know, he got a run out for the provincial side back in New Zealand. Not even the provincial side, for his regional club side. He ran out, you know, with a bunch of guys that are electricians, plumbers, and carpenters during the week. And then you run out for a bit of club rugby on the weekend, and who do you see but Ma'anonu getting warmed up on the sideline? He looks thicker than he has in past years, but, you know, when you've got a guy with that much experience, he's going to make a difference on a rugby field.
And of note, there are a lot of signings. One that stuck out, Holden Younger at the scrum half for NOLA the last 4 years. He signs with New England, so that'll be a different look for the Free Jacks. That's
a big get for New England and the Free Jacks to kind of marshal that offense around the field. He's a high-energy guy that was a difference maker for them down there in NOLA, and I think he's going to be a factor for New England.
And then last but not least, this is some cool news. Utah Warriors have partnered with Utah Youth Rugby Junior Warriors. Ashley Burge, one of our favorites, part of the program, part of the broadcast team. She's going to run this with the Utah Warriors, similar to like Junior Jazz, if people are familiar with it. I participated in that as a kid. It was so cool. So I'm super excited about Ashley's involvement in that and what the Utah Warriors are trying to do. Truly a pathway from, if you don't know the game at all and you're a little kid, all the way up to being a pro in Major League Rugby is going to exist.
You know, she's an incredible resource to have here with her connections in the community, having helped start the women's program in Harriman. And then she played through her own pathway all the way up to the women's national team at 7s and 15s. So not only is she an incredible rugby player in her own right, but now investing in this community. And what a perfect person to have spearhead that connection with Utah Youth Rugby and the Utah Warriors.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And I can't wait to see the influence she'll have at that level. She's already been awesome with the academy with Derek Smith. And, just doing good work. Good work. All right, did we miss anything from the last 2 weeks? There's a ton going on for November.
I don't think so. I mean, there's so many things going on and so many moving pieces. All of the announcements are going to start coming out from around the league about new player signings, both domestically and internationally. So the news is going to start pouring on quick as we look into between now and Christmas.
I'm excited for those to roll out. We've learned some things, and I'm very excited about next year's squad. It's going to be great. We have a couple comments to get to. General Manager Brandon Sparks has responded in answer to our question about 6'3", 200. What else do you want? To 215 or 220?
All right, Sparksy, that's a good size. That's a man beast back there at 15.
That's awesome. And then Michael Amor, who's the #1 fan of the Utah Warriors. Welcome Connor Burns to the Warriors. What a place, what a team. Absolutely super excited to have Connor Burns, Emerson Pryor, Joseph Backey, those 3 draft picks, among others. There's going to be some free agent signings, some very exciting names, some young that are up and coming that you're like, whoa, he's played for who and he's coming over here. Some vets. It's going to be an awesome mix as the Warriors, I feel like, are doing a really good job of figuring out how to find good talent. Obviously, getting vets like Mikey Teo, Paul Mullen, and Mika Kruse are certainly important and vital. But finding young up-and-coming talent internationally, domestically, the selects and otherwise, that's how you make a team that surprised everybody except the Utah Warriors last season.
You know, and full credit to Pittman and Davies, and of course to Sparksy, who kind of spearheads that entire master plan. He has become a mad scientist from looking at what he sees on spreadsheets and film to evaluating players and talent and how they fit into what Coach Pittman and what Coach Davies want to do here in Utah. They've got a system figured out, and clearly things are working, and exciting days ahead as not just the Utah Warriors continue to develop, but as rugby in the United States continues to develop. We're going to see an entire generation of players now whose expectation is professionalism, and that's going to make a difference and pay dividends for the next generation. As we mentioned, Utah youth rugby, and those kids coming up now, those will be the ones that are going to compete internationally and push the USA into the top 10 for competition in World Cups.
Absolutely. And it's going to take time for, it's going to be, 15, 20 years before we talk to that one kid that says, oh, I did junior Warriors and now I'm a first team all MLR player and I play for the Eagles. But you have to start it now. And that's what the Warriors have done the last couple of years.
But the system is in place. The players, the personnel, the staff, the organizations all believe in it. Now we've just got to continue to not only invest in the players we have and continue to grow their ability to provide for their families and take care of their bodies, but these kids coming up and gathering these athletes from other college sports who now are going to be exposed to rugby and say, I want to do that.
100%. Okay, we want to remind you, check out the Utah Selects against Pathway 404 this Saturday, Zions Bank Stadium, 1 Mountain Time. There is a town hall if you want to hang out with some of, the administration of the team and get to know them a little bit. VIP Hospitality Lounge up at the press box at Zions Bank Stadium. Basically, go to the stadium and you'll be able to find it. That's coming up at 11 o'clock before the 1 p.m. game on Saturday. Look, Brandon Sparks is going to be there. He's going to be talking. I believe Kimball Kerr, the CEO of the team, is going to be there as well. Oh, Sean Pittman's going to be there too. MLR Coach of the Year. Let's go. So the big three are showing up. No, it's not Chris Bosh, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade. It's the big three of the Utah Warriors, and Kimball and Brandon and Sean.
It's a great chance to get in front of these guys and ask them any questions. We've got some great personalities and some great leaders with this club, and this is a chance to ask them anything that you want. These guys really are an open book, and they believe in making those connections with the fans and the organization and our community. And this is a chance to just be there and to kind of soak it all in.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Okay, that'll do it for us. Like and share this episode of Dub Nation. Follow the Utah Warriors on social media throughout the season. And we'll be back in 2 weeks in the offseason. Before we know it, we'll be weekly again in March. That's going to creep up on us soon.
Quick.
And we may have the schedule by the next show. We'll see. If not that show, probably the next show. And that is a big deal because the Dallas Jackals have been added, and now we're going to see this schedule, and we're going to know what games we're doing and when. It's going to be awesome, man.
Can't wait, and let's hope for as few early games as possible. I'm not saying we've had some issues here with weather games in Utah, but let's hope the scheduling committee takes some of those things into account, that we're at, 4,800 feet above sea level here at Zions Bank Stadium. And, it snows through the early part of the Major League Rugby season.
2019, NOLA, there's like 6 inches of snow on the turf. NOLA scores at the variant. That's still with me. Let's not end on that note. Shout out to the Warriors, repping on the USA Selects and the Eagles, all 8 of you. Well done. Very nice job. Okay, for Connor Burns and Mike Gieselman and Billy, the producer, who just rolls all black highlights, and Banksy, I'm Jarom Jordan. Go Warriors.